After 10 years of perfect reviews, Maya watched her keycard flash red at the elevator. The security guard's smirk said everything. "Ms. Johnson, you'll need to come with me." The metallic beep echoed through Meridian Financial's marble lobby. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Maya's heels clicked against the cold floor as she followed the guard to HR. "Ensign, there's been a decision regarding your employment status," Janet from Human Resources said, not meeting Maya's eyes. The vanilla air freshener couldn't mask the tension in the small conference room. Maya Johnson, 38, had built her career methodically. Senior Operations Manager, MIT graduate, data analytics expert, 10 years of loyalty to Meridian Financial. Not a single negative review in her file. "Effective immediately, your position has been eliminated," Janet continued, sliding a thick packet across the table. "This is your severance package. Quite generous, actually." Maya's hands trembled as she opened the folder. The numbers were substantial, too substantial. Her mind, trained in patterns and anomalies, immediately flagged the discrepancy. "I don't understand," Maya said quietly. "My department exceeded targets by 23% last quarter. The cost-saving initiative I proposed could save the company millions." Janet's fingers drummed against the table. "The new leadership team has different priorities. Mr. Hawkins feels the company needs to move in a new direction. Brett Hawkins, the new CEO, who'd arrived 6 months ago with his Harvard MBA and promises of efficiency." Maya had watched her innovative proposals disappear into his office, only to emerge labeled as not aligned with company vision. "You have 30 minutes to clear your desk," Janet said, standing. "Security will escort you out." The walk to her office felt endless. Colleagues stared from their cubicles. Whispers followed her down the hallway. Maya had seen this before, the corporate walk of shame. She'd just never imagined it would happen to her. Her office overlooked the city's financial district. 10 years of memories packed into cardboard boxes. Awards, commendations, photos from company retreats. The plant her team gave her for her promotion sat wilting on the windowsill. "This is one of those real-life stories that shows how black stories of workplace discrimination still happen today," she whispered to herself, surprising herself with the words. Security arrived with a dolly. Maya's fingers instinctively grabbed her personal laptop, the one containing her detailed project files and correspondence. Old habits from her data analytics days, she'd always been meticulous about keeping records. The elevator ride down felt eternal. Other employees averted their eyes. The security guard hummed off-key. Maya clutched her box tighter, knuckles white against the cardboard. Outside, the October wind cut through her blazer. Her BMW sat in the parking garage, a reminder of the success she'd built. Her phone buzzed with text messages from concerned colleagues. "Are you okay? What happened? Can't believe they did this to you. This isn't right." Maya sat in her car, engine running, staring at the corporate tower that had been her second home. The building looked different now. Cold, imposing, foreign. Her phone rang. "Mom." "Maya, honey, how was your day?" The question broke something inside her. "I got fired, Mom." Silence stretched across the line. Then her mother's voice, steady and strong. "Come home, baby. We'll figure this out." The drive home blurred past. Maya's mind raced through the past 6 months. The gradual exclusion from key meetings. The sideways glances from Brett's inner circle. The subtle undermining of her authority. She'd excelled at reading data patterns her entire career. Human behavior followed patterns too. The signs had been there. She'd just chosen to ignore them. Her downtown apartment felt too quiet. Maya poured a glass of wine and opened her laptop. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Something nagged at her, a detail she couldn't quite place. The severance package sat on her kitchen counter. Non-disclosure agreement, generous payout, permanent silence required. 10 years of loyalty, and they throw me away like yesterday's coffee. Maya's analytical mind began connecting dots. The timing of her termination, the rushed severance offer, the immediate replacement surely waiting in the wings. She pulled up her email archive. Thousands of messages spanning a decade. Project reports, performance reviews, interdepartmental communications. Her habit of documenting everything, a trait that had served her well in data analytics. Her phone buzzed with a LinkedIn notification. Someone had viewed her profile. Then another, and another. Word was spreading. Maya closed her laptop and stared out at the city lights. Tomorrow would bring difficult decisions. Tonight, she grieved the career she'd built and lost. But somewhere in the back of her mind, her analytical instincts stirred. Patterns existed in everything. Data didn't lie. People did. Will Maya find a way to fight back against this corporate machine? The vanilla candles Maya had lit couldn't mask the bitterness in her mouth. Rain tapped against her home office windows as she stared at the severance package. Her laptop screen glowed in the dim light, casting shadows across the legal documents. 48 hours had passed since her termination. The non-disclosure agreement demanded her signature by Friday. In exchange, Meridian would pay her 18-month salary, nearly $200,000, 0 cents. More than generous for a standard termination. Too generous. Maya's phone buzzed. An email from her former colleague, Sarah Chen, marked urgent. Maya, I shouldn't be telling you this, but they're bringing in Marcus Webb from Brett's old company. He's starting Monday in your role. Same title, same responsibilities. Thought you should know. Maya's coffee went cold in her hands. Marcus Webb. She'd researched him after seeing his name in Brett's transition documents. 5 years less experience. No advanced degree. White. Male. Connected. Her analytical mind kicked into overdrive. The pattern was becoming clear. Another email arrived. This one from her networking contact at First National Bank. Maya heard about your situation. Unfortunately, we've decided to go with another candidate for the VP position. Best of luck in your search. The VP position she'd been courting for months. The one where she'd been the front runner until last week. Maya opened her laptop and began typing. Spreadsheets filled with data. Names, dates, decisions. Her methodical approach to everything would serve her now. Will Maya sign away her voice for financial security? The next morning brought more disturbing news. Her LinkedIn profile views had mysteriously dropped to 0. Professional contacts who usually responded within hours left her messages unanswered. Maya's doorbell rang. A courier delivered a certified letter from Meridian's legal department. Inside, a formal notice of potential defamation claims should she spread false information about the company or its leadership. Despite Maisie's anger at her husband's leader, she hadn't said anything publicly. Yet, her phone rang. David Kim, her former direct report, spoke in hushed tones. Maya, I can't talk long. They're monitoring our communications. But people are saying things. About your performance. About attitude problems. None of it's true, but it's spreading. Maya's grip tightened on the phone. What kind of things? That you were difficult to work with. That you questioned leadership decisions inappropriately. That your departure was performance. David's voice cracked. We all know it's bullshit, but HR is making the rounds. People are scared. The systematic destruction of her reputation was underway. Corporate character assassination, executed with precision. Maya ended the call and stared at her reflection in the black phone screen. 20 years of building credibility. Gone in a week. Her coffee had gone cold again. Will Maya's career be buried along with the truth? Thursday afternoon, Maya sat across from employment attorney Rebecca Torres in a sterile downtown office. The smell of old paper and leather filled the air. Legal documents rustled between them. "I'll be honest with you, Maya," Rebecca said, adjusting her glasses. "This is an uphill battle. Meridian's legal team is already filing preemptive motions. They're claiming your termination was part of a broader restructuring." Maya slid her folder across the desk. "What about the replacement hire? Same position, same salary, starting immediately." Rebecca flipped through the documents. "Helpful, but not conclusive. They'll argue the role evolved, that different skills were needed." She leaned back in her chair. "The real challenge is proving intentional discrimination versus legitimate business decisions." "How much will this cost?" "Conservatively, $50,000 to start. If it goes to trial, we're looking at 6 figures. And that's if we win." Maya's savings account flashed in her mind. The mortgage, the car payments, the mounting uncertainty. "They're not just firing you, Maya, they're erasing you." Rebecca's words hit harder than intended. Maya stared at the ceiling, fluorescent lights humming overhead. What are my realistic chances? Without smoking gun evidence? Maybe 30%. Corporate defendants have resources, time, and experience. They'll drag this out until you're broke or broken. Maya left the law office with a retainer agreement and dwindling hope. The elevator descended in silence, each floor marking another step toward an uncertain future. Will Maya's fight for justice bankrupt her future? Friday evening arrived with devastating swiftness. Maya's apartment felt suffocating. Empty wine glass on the kitchen counter. City lights twinkled beyond her windows, indifferent to her struggle. Her sister called from Phoenix. "Maya, just take the money and move on. You're young, you'll find another job." "It's not about the money, Lisa." "Then what? Pride? You've got bills to pay, a future to think about. This crusade won't bring your job back." Maya ended the call and poured another glass of wine. The severance package sat on her counter, waiting for her signature. Financial security in exchange for silence. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. "Praying for you, baby. Whatever you decide, we'll support you." Maya opened her laptop and began scrolling through her email archive. 10 years of correspondence, project files, performance reviews. Her habit of documenting everything, a trait that had seemed obsessive to some colleagues. Now it felt prescient. She opened a new spreadsheet and began entering data. Termination dates, employee demographics, promotion patterns. Her analytical mind searching for connections, patterns, anomalies. The wine helped focus her thoughts. Numbers didn't lie. People did. Her phone rang at 11 p.m. Unknown number. "Maya Johnson?" "This is Jennifer Walsh from the Phoenix Tribune. I'm investigating workplace discrimination claims at several major corporations. I understand you recently left Meridian Financial?" Maya's pulse quickened. "I can't comment on that. I have sources suggesting a pattern of discriminatory practices, particularly affecting women of color in senior positions. Your situation fits a broader narrative we're tracking." "I'm not able to discuss this. Good night." Maya hung up, hands trembling. The media attention was starting. Her story was becoming public whether she wanted it or not. She stared at the severance package. 18 months of salary. Silence. Safety. Or uncertainty. Truth. Risk. Her laptop screen reflected her face. Tired, conflicted, afraid. But behind the fear, something else stirred. The same analytical curiosity that had driven her success. Maya's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She opened her most comprehensive project file. The efficiency analysis she'd spent 6 months developing. The one Brett Hawkins had dismissed as not aligned with company vision. Hidden in the data were patterns she'd never fully explored. Hiring decisions, promotion rates, compensation analyses, performance review distributions. Her breath caught. The numbers told a story of systematic bias, carefully hidden but clearly documented. Maya smiled for the first time in weeks. They had underestimated her. She reached for her phone and dialed Rebecca Torres's after-hours number. "Rebecca, it's Maya Johnson. I need to see you tomorrow. I think I found something." The wine glass sat empty on her counter. The severance package remained unsigned. Outside her window, the city hummed with late-night energy. Maya's laptop screen glowed with possibilities and evidence. Will Maya find the courage to expose the truth? The soft glow of 3 monitors illuminated Maya's home office at 3 a.m. Coffee brewed in the kitchen while her fingers moved across the keyboard with mechanical precision. She'd been at this for 6 hours straight, diving deeper into the data than she'd ever gone before. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. "Maya, baby, you've got to be twice as good to get half as far. That's just the way it is." Maya had internalized that lesson at age 8, watching her mother work double shifts as a nurse while earning her degree. Excellence wasn't optional. It was survival. Now, surrounded by spreadsheets and legal documents, Maya questioned everything. Had she been overreacting? Was this really about discrimination? Or was she grasping for explanations that didn't exist? The doubt crept in like poison. Maybe Brett was right. Maybe her ideas weren't as innovative as she'd thought. Maybe she'd been coasting on past successes. Her phone buzzed, a text from her college roommate, Keisha. "Saw the news online. You okay? Remember sophomore year when Professor Williams said you'd never make it in finance? Look how that turned out." Maya smiled, despite herself. Professor Williams, the statistics instructor who'd questioned her capabilities, suggested she consider more suitable career paths. She'd proven him wrong then. She'd prove them wrong now. Her laptop chimed with an email notification. Another rejection from a company where she'd been a finalist, the 3rd this week. Her reputation was being systematically destroyed while she sat in her apartment, paralyzed by analysis. Maya stood and walked to her kitchen window. The city stretched endlessly below. Millions of people pursuing their dreams, fighting their battles, facing their own moments of truth. She thought about her first day at Meridian Financial, fresh-faced, eager, convinced that excellence would be enough. The subtle slights she'd learned to ignore, the casual dismissals, the way her ideas were often attributed to male colleagues in meetings. She'd adapted, worked harder, stayed later, produced better results, became indispensable. Left until she wasn't. Maya returned to her computer and opened her email archive. 10 years of correspondence spread across her screen. Her methodical nature had served her well. She'd saved everything. Project proposals, performance reviews, team communications, executive briefings. Her MIT training in data analytics had taught her to see patterns where others saw chaos. Human behavior followed statistical models, just like financial markets. She created a new spreadsheet and began entering data points, employee names, hire dates, promotion timelines, termination reasons. Her fingers moved automatically, muscle memory from countless late nights analyzing market trends. The patterns emerged slowly at first, then with startling clarity. In the past 2 years, Meridian had terminated, or restructured, 23 employees. 17 were women or people of color. Of the 6 remaining, 4 had been close to retirement with full pension benefits. The numbers didn't lie, even when people did. Maya's hands shook as she created visualizations, charts showing promotion rates by demographic, graphs displaying compensation gaps. tables revealing performance review distributions. The evidence was overwhelming, systematic, deliberate. Her phone rang. "Mom?" "Maya, honey, it's late. You should get some sleep." "I can't sleep, Mom. I found something." "What kind of something?" Maya stared at her screen, numbers swimming before her tired eyes. "Proof. Evidence that this isn't just about me. It's bigger than I thought." "Bigger how?" "There's a pattern, a systematic approach to removing women and minorities from senior positions. The data is irrefutable." Her mother's voice grew quiet. "What are you going to do?" Maya looked at her reflection in the black computer screen. Tired, determined, afraid. "I don't know yet. But I can't unknow this information." After hanging up, Maya poured another cup of coffee and returned to her analysis. Each data point represented a person, a career, a life disrupted. Jennifer Walsh, the terminated marketing director. 5 years of excellence, then suddenly not meeting expectations. Robert Chen, the Asian American finance manager, passed over for promotion 3 times before accepting a position elsewhere. The SDO sponsorship process went downhill after that. Carmen Rodriguez, the Latina HR specialist, laid off during restructuring while her white male counterpart received a promotion. Maya wasn't alone. She was part of a pattern. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She opened a new document and began typing. Executive Summary, Statistical Analysis of Employment Practices at Meridian Financial Corporation. The words flowed like water. Her analytical training took over, organizing thoughts into coherent arguments. Data points became evidence. Patterns became proof. She worked until dawn, crafting a comprehensive report that would either vindicate her suspicions or destroy her remaining credibility. As morning light filtered through her blinds, Maya saved the document and leaned back in her chair. 23 pages of analysis. Graphs, charts, statistical models. The kind of presentation that had made her reputation. Now it might break it. Her phone buzzed with an email from Marcus Webb, her replacement. The subject line read, "Transition questions." Maya deleted it without reading. Some bridges were already burned. She walked to her kitchen and stared at the severance package on her counter. 18 months of salary, security, silence. The coffee maker gurgled to life. Steam rose from the pot, carrying the promise of another day, another choice, another chance to decide who she wanted to be. Maya's reflection stared back from the kitchen window. Behind her, computer screens glowed with evidence, data, truth, power. She thought about her mother's words. Twice as good to get half as far. Maybe it was time to be 4 times as good. Maya walked back to her computer and opened her email client. Her fingers moved across the keyboard with purpose now, no longer trembling with doubt. The recipient list grew. Meridian's Board of Directors. The local business journal. The EEOC. Her professional network. Her cursor hovered over the send button. Once pressed, there would be no going back. No severance package, no quiet exit, no safety net. Maya smiled for the first time in weeks. They had underestimated her. All of them. She was not just a fired employee. She was a data scientist with a story to tell. Expose the truth. To expose the truth. The satisfying click of the send button echoed through Maya's home office. Morning sunlight streamed through her blinds, casting geometric shadows across her desk. Her printer hummed to life, churning out page after page of documented evidence. Maya had spent the past 72 hours constructing something unprecedented, a comprehensive statistical analysis of Meridian Financial's employment practices. What she'd discovered would change everything. Her phone buzzed immediately. Rebecca Torres, her attorney. Maya, what did you just do? I'm getting calls from reporters. I sent my analysis to the people who needed to see it, without consulting me. Maya, this could backfire spectacularly. Maya stared at her computer screen, where confirmation emails populated her inbox. Board members, journalists, regulatory agencies, her entire professional network. Rebecca, I'm not just a fired employee. I'm a data scientist with a story to tell. The line went quiet. Then, what exactly did you find? Maya pulled up her master spreadsheet, the one that had kept her awake for 3 days straight. In the past 24 months, Meridian terminated 23 employees. 17 were women or people of color. That's 74% of terminations from groups representing only 31% of senior staff. That's significant? It gets better. Average severance for white male employees, $47,000, 0 cents. Average for women of color, $89,000, 0 cents. They're paying premium rates to buy silence. Rebecca's breathing became audible. Maya, this is explosive. But are you prepared for the consequences? Maya looked at her reflection in the computer screen. Dark circles under her eyes. Determination in her posture. I've been preparing my whole life. Within 2 hours, Maya's phone rang constantly. Her email inbox exploded with interview requests. The Phoenix Tribune wanted an exclusive. The Wall Street Journal requested comment. Local news stations left voicemails. Her LinkedIn profile, dormant for weeks, suddenly showed 847 views. Comments poured in from former colleagues, industry contacts, complete strangers. Brave woman, this needed to be exposed. Maya Johnson is a hero. More people should speak up. The data doesn't lie. This is systematic discrimination. But not all responses were supportive. Anonymous messages flooded her personal accounts. You're a troublemaker who can't accept failure. Playing the race card won't get your job back. You'll never work in finance again. Maya deleted them without reading the rest. She'd expected the backlash. Her phone rang. The caller ID showed Meridian Financial. Ms. Johnson, this is Patricia Hoffman from Legal. We need to discuss your recent communication. Maya's voice remained steady. I don't have anything to discuss with Meridian. Your data analysis contains proprietary information. We're prepared to pursue legal action for breach of confidentiality. Every piece of information I used is publicly available through SEC filings, press releases, and general employee communications. I access nothing confidential. A pause. Nevertheless, we consider this a hostile act. Your severance package is being withdrawn. Maya smiled. I never signed it anyway. She hung up and immediately called Rebecca. They're threatening legal action, and they withdrew the severance. Expected. Maya, you just declared war on a billion-dollar corporation. They're going to fight back. Hard. Let them. I have the truth. Truth doesn't always win in court. You know that. Maya's doorbell rang. Through her window, she saw a news van pulling up to her building. Then another. Her quiet apartment complex was about to become a media circus. Rebecca, I have to go. The press is here. Maya, be careful what you say. Every word will be scrutinized. Maya ended the call and walked to her bathroom mirror. She looked exhausted but determined. Her mother's voice echoed again. Stand up straight, baby. Look them in the eye. She changed into her best business suit, the navy one she'd worn to her first presentation at Meridian. Ironic. The hallway buzzed with activity. Reporters, cameramen, curious neighbors. Maya's hands remained steady as she approached the crowd. Miss Johnson, can you comment on your allegations against Meridian Financial? Miss Johnson, what prompted you to go public with this information? Ms. Johnson, what do you want to see happen next? Maya stood on her building's front steps, camera lights illuminating her face. She thought about every woman who'd been passed over, every person of color who'd been pushed out, every voice that had been silenced. I spent 10 years at Meridian Financial. I loved my job. I believed in the company's mission. But I cannot remain silent about systematic discrimination. What evidence do you have? The data speaks for itself. Over the past 2 years, 74% of senior-level terminations affected women and people of color. Despite these groups representing only 31% of senior staff, the statistical probability of this occurring randomly is less than 0.003%. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Maya continued. This isn't about one person's termination. It's about patterns of behavior that affect dozens of employees and their families. It's about creating workplace environments where excellence isn't enough if you don't fit a certain profile. What do you want from Meridian? Maya looked directly into the camera. Accountability, transparency, change. Are you concerned about retaliation? I'm more concerned about staying silent while injustice continues. The reporters shouted more questions, but Maya turned and walked back into her building. She'd said what needed to be said. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Saw you on the news. Proud of you, baby. Then another from her sister. You're either brave or crazy, maybe both. Maya climbed the stairs to her apartment, energy coursing through her veins. For the first time in weeks, she felt powerful, not because of her position or title, but because of her truth. Her laptop showed 1,247 new emails, interview requests, support messages, job offers, threats. She scrolled through them methodically, her analytical mind cataloging responses. Then she saw it. An email from David Kim, her former direct report. Maya, I can't stay quiet anymore. I have documentation of the meetings where they planned your termination. Brett specifically said they needed to clean house of problematic employees. I recorded some conversations. Can we talk? Maya's hands trembled as she reached for her phone. David answered on the first ring. Maya, I'm sorry I didn't speak up earlier. I was scared. What do you have, David? Audio recordings. Brett talking about your attitude problem and how you don't fit the culture. He specifically mentioned wanting to bring in people who understand our vision. It's all coded language, but the intent is clear. Maya's analytical mind raced. Audio evidence, corroborating testimony, pattern documentation. David, this is incredibly brave, but are you prepared for what comes next? I've been preparing since the day they walked you out. This isn't right, Maya. Everyone knows it. Within hours, David's recordings were in Rebecca's hands. The audio quality was clear, the conversations damaging. Brett's voice, unmistakably discussing Maya's termination in terms that revealed clear bias. She's too confrontational, always pushing back on decisions. We need team players, not activists. The efficiency report she submitted was basically a criticism of my leadership. That's not acceptable. I want people who align with company culture. Maya Johnson isn't that person. Maya listened to the recordings with a mixture of vindication and disgust. Her suspicions confirmed, her instincts validated. But beyond personal vindication, she felt something else. Power. The power that came from truth, from evidence, from refusing to be silenced. Her phone rang. Jennifer Walsh from the Phoenix Tribune. Maya, I've been investigating Meridian for months. Your data analysis confirms everything we suspected. Would you be willing to participate in a comprehensive investigation? What kind of investigation? We've identified 17 other employees with similar experiences. All people of color or women. All terminated under questionable circumstances. All offered substantial severance packages with NDA. Maya's breath caught. 17 others. Her story wasn't unique. It was part of a pattern. I'll participate. but I want to see the data. Already compiled. Your analysis filled in the gaps we couldn't access. Together, we have something unprecedented. Maya's email chimed with an encrypted file from Jennifer. Personnel records, internal communications, financial documents. The scope was staggering. Meridian Financial hadn't just discriminated against her. They'd systematically eliminated diverse voices from their leadership structure over a 2-year period. Maya opened a new document and began typing. Not another analysis, something more powerful. A comprehensive expose that would lay bare the full scope of Meridian's practices. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Statistics became stories. Data points became human faces. Numbers became justice. At 11 p.m., she finished the document. 37 pages of evidence, testimony, and analysis. The kind of presentation that would either change everything or destroy her completely. Maya looked at her phone. 43 missed calls, 200 unread emails. Her quiet life was over. She thought about her mother's words. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find your purpose. Maya hadn't just lost her job. She'd found her calling. She attached the document to an email and began typing recipient addresses. Every major news outlet, every regulatory agency, every board member at Meridian Financial. The subject line read, "The email that exposed everything." Maya's finger hovered over the send button. Once pressed, there would be no going back, no quiet settlement, no private resolution. She thought about the 17 other employees who'd been silenced, the future employees who might face the same discrimination, the system that would continue unchanged unless someone stood up. Maya pressed send. The email disappeared into cyberspace, carrying with it the power to change everything. Her phone began ringing immediately. The first call was from her mother. "Maya, baby, I'm proud of you. Whatever happens next, you did the right thing." The second call was from Rebecca. "Maya, my phone is exploding. Every major news outlet wants to interview you. The SEC is opening an investigation. The Department of Labor is requesting documents. You just started a war." Maya smiled, exhaustion and exhilaration mixing in her voice. "Good. It's about time." Will Maya's email be enough to bring down the system? Camera flashes exploded across the Marriott downtown conference room as Maya stepped to the podium. The shuffle of reporters' feet mixed with the echo of voices bouncing off hotel walls. She'd never imagined herself at the center of a media storm, but here she was. 48 hours had passed since her email went viral. The hashtag Meridian Truth was trending nationally. Screenshots of her statistical analysis circulated across LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook faster than Meridian's PR team could contain them. Maya adjusted the microphone and looked out at the sea of cameras. "Thank you for coming. I want to address the situation at Meridian Financial and the broader implications for workplace equity." Her voice carried the calm authority she'd developed over years of boardroom presentations. But this audience was different. These people held the power to amplify her message beyond corporate walls. 48 hours ago, I shared data analysis revealing systematic discrimination at Meridian Financial. Since then, 17 additional employees have come forward with similar experiences. This isn't about one company or one person. It's about patterns that exist across corporate America. Questions erupted from the crowd. "Ms. Johnson, what's your response to Meridian's statement that you're a disgruntled former employee?" Maya's lips curved into a slight smile. The data speaks louder than corporate spin. When 74% of terminations disproportionately affect protected classes, that's not coincidence. It's systematic bias. What do you want to see happen to Brett Hawkins? I want accountability, not just for Mr. Hawkins, but for every executive who enables these practices. Individual accountability leads to systemic change. Her phone buzzed against the podium. A text from David Kim. Board meeting happening right now. Emergency session. Brett's not there. Maya's pulse quickened, but her expression remained composed. I'll take 2 more questions. Are you concerned about your future career prospects? Maya paused, thinking about the dozens of job offers that had flooded her inbox since yesterday. Tech companies, consulting firms, non-profits. Organizations wanting to hire the woman who'd stood up to corporate discrimination. I'm more concerned about creating a future where others don't face these choices, where excellence is evaluated on merit, not demographics. The conference ended with sustained applause. Maya walked off the stage feeling simultaneously drained and energized. Her phone showed 47 missed calls. Rebecca Torres appeared at her elbow. Maya, you need to see this. She handed over her tablet showing a breaking news alert. Meridian Financial CEO Brett Hawkins placed on administrative leave pending investigation. A medieval canon, said Leah Koob. If only, Brett said. If only we knew what... Maya's knees nearly buckled. When? 20 minutes ago. The board called an emergency meeting this morning. Your email reached 3 board members directly. They couldn't ignore the evidence. Maya's phone rang. Jennifer Walsh, from the Phoenix Tribune. Maya, are you seeing the news? Brett Hawkins is out. The board issued a statement promising a comprehensive review of employment practices. You did it. But Maya felt no triumph. Only exhaustion mixed with cautious relief. It's not over, Jennifer. One executive stepping down doesn't fix systemic problems. You're right. But it's a start. And my sources say federal investigators are already requesting documents. This is going to get much bigger. That evening, Maya sat in her apartment watching news coverage of the day's events. Every major network carried the story. Her face appeared on screen as anchors discussed workplace discrimination and corporate accountability. Her mother called during a commercial break. Maya, baby, you're on the national news. Mrs. Henderson from next door called to tell me you're famous. I don't feel famous, Mom. I feel like I opened a door I can't close. Sometimes that's what courage looks like. Your daddy would be proud. Maya's father had died when she was 12, but she remembered his advice. Stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Sarah Chen from Meridian. A group of us want to meet. We have more evidence. Can you call me? Maya's hands trembled as she dialed. Sarah answered immediately. Maya, there are 8 of us, current employees who've been documenting everything. We were too scared to speak up alone, but after seeing what you did, what kind of evidence? Email chains about cultural fit decisions, performance reviews that changed after diversity training sessions, salary data showing systematic pay gaps. We've been collecting it for months. Maya closed her eyes. The scope was even larger than she'd imagined. Sarah, coming forward could cost you your jobs. Staying silent is costing us our souls. We've watched good people get pushed out while incompetent people get promoted. It has to stop. Within hours, Maya found herself coordinating a complex whistleblower network. 8 current employees, 17 former employees, dozens of documented incidents spanning 3 years. Rebecca Torres worked overtime preparing federal complaints. The EEOC opened a formal investigation. The Department of Labor requested comprehensive employment records. Friday morning brought the announcement Maya had been waiting for. Meridian Financial agreed to a federal consent decree requiring external oversight of hiring and promotion practices. Brett Hawkins officially resigned, forfeiting his severance package. But the real victory came in smaller moments. Text messages from strangers sharing their own stories. LinkedIn connections from women who'd faced similar challenges. email requests from college students asking for mentorship. Maya realized her story had become bigger than her personal vindication. It had become a catalyst for conversations happening in boardrooms across the country. Her phone rang one final time that day. The caller ID showed Meridian Financial. Ms. Johnson, this is Patricia Hoffman, Interim CEO. I wanted to personally apologize for your experience and invite you to meet with our new leadership team. We're implementing comprehensive reforms and would value your input. Maya paused, looking out her apartment window at the city skyline. Somewhere in those buildings, other people faced the same choices she'd confronted. Stay silent or speak truth to power. Ms. Hoffman, I appreciate the call, but my focus now is ensuring this doesn't happen to others. The best apology is changed behavior. We understand. If you change your mind, my door is open. Maya hung up and smiled. For the first time in months, she felt genuinely optimistic about the future. Maya didn't just get fired. She got free. What would you do in Maya's situation? 6 months later, Maya walked into her new office at Innovate Tech Solutions, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. The warm handshake from her new team still felt surreal. Fresh coffee filled her mug while collaborative voices hummed in the background. A stark contrast to the corporate silence she'd left behind. As Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, Maya had found her true calling. Her first initiative involved implementing data-driven accountability measures across all departments. No more subjective cultural fit evaluations. No more unconscious bias hiding behind corporate speak. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find your true purpose, she told the university students gathered for her keynote speech that evening. The audience, primarily young women of color pursuing business degrees, hung on every word. These are the kinds of life stories that inspire real change in Black stories, and beyond. Maya's journey had become a blueprint for others facing similar battles. Her phone buzzed with a LinkedIn notification. Another message from someone sharing their workplace discrimination story. They arrived daily now. Hundreds of real-life stories from people who'd found courage in her example. Maya had become an accidental advocate, but she'd embraced the role completely. Her consulting firm, Equity Analytics, helped companies identify and eliminate systematic bias using data-driven approaches. The same analytical skills that had exposed Meridian's practices now served organizations committed to genuine change. The Meridian case had settled for an undisclosed amount, enough to fund Maya's new venture and support other whistleblowers facing corporate retaliation. More importantly, the consent decree had forced industry-wide conversations about employment practices. Brett Hawkins had quietly joined a small consulting firm in Arizona. His corporate career effectively ended. 3 other Meridian executives had resigned during the federal investigation. The company now employed an external diversity officer and submitted quarterly reports to federal oversight. Maya's story had rippled beyond corporate boardrooms. Congress held hearings on workplace discrimination. Business schools incorporated her case study into ethics curricula. Young professionals cited her example when challenging unfair treatment. Her mother visited the new office that afternoon, pride evident in her smile. "Maya, baby, look what you built from all that pain. It's not just what I built, Mom. It's what we're all building together." Maya's desk held letters from employees across the country who'd successfully challenged discrimination using her documented approach. Each victory represented another crack in systems designed to silence dissent. These touching stories reminded Maya why her fight had been necessary, not just for her own vindication, but for every person who would face similar crossroads in the future. Her computer chimed with an email from a Fortune 500 CEO requesting a consultation. Another organization ready to examine their practices honestly. Maya smiled and began typing her response. The work continued. Your voice matters. Your data matters. Your truth can change everything. Welcome to Bead Stories, where real stories hit back. We don't just tell stories, we expose injustice. Because sometimes one quiet voice can shake a whole corporation, and one smart move can spark a system-wide change. This is where intelligence meets prejudice, and justice speaks loud. Have you ever faced workplace discrimination? What patterns have you noticed in your industry? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to speak up and help Beat Stories continue exposing these critical issues. If Maya's courage resonated with you, please share this Beat Stories video with someone who needs to hear her message. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of resilience and the power of standing up for what's right. Remember, silence protects the system. Your voice protects the future. What would you do in Maya's situation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Beat Stories for more inspiring real-life stories that prove change is possible when intelligence meets injustice.